a continued live stream right now. Got a couple ideas, a couple things I want to do, but I definitely want to get started by cleaning up some of my materials first. Got some materials to clean up. But I wanted to do this live stream about motivating myself to share work on social media. Like what, I've been reading a lot of posts on like Threads and Instagram and all these different posts on like Threads and Instagram and Facebook, and a lot of posts where people are very uncomfortable about sharing artwork on social media, whether it be whatever platform that may be. And I find it so interesting because I really only have that problem at the very beginning. Like when I first started making videos, I would actually record myself doing 1 minute videos. I would just record myself and I would like speak into the camera for like 1 minute, like 1 minute vlog, I called it. And I made about like a couple hundred of these videos. Well, maybe just 100, but they're pretty cringe because they're cringe because I know when I was trying to make them, I would do like 30 takes of the same exact thing. So I would like sit there with a camera and I'd be like, I pick one idea to talk about, like how to best places in LA to visit, and then I'd talk in the camera. I'd be like, some of the best places to visit in Los Angeles are blah 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 blah. And then I would just do that, but sometimes I would not have the perfect words to say, and I would do it like 30 times. People would literally just be sitting there, and I'm in public, and I'm like repeating the same thing over and over until I get it perfect. And it was in those moments that I realized, like, you know what? It's really not that big a deal. Nobody really cares if I got my words perfectly right. And, that's like one of the big things is the truth is, by the way, what's up, everybody? Hello, Dondra. Hello, Corey. The truth is unless you have like 5 million followers, or let's just go on the low end, unless you have 500,000 followers or more, nobody really cares that much. Like even your haters don't care that much. They just want something to hate on. Like they really don't even care that much. So for anyone to have like anything less than like 100,000 followers to be like totally scared and doubtful and concerned about what could possibly go wrong with like videos and live stream and sharing the art, like honestly, it's like you're not that successful, right? You don't have that big of a following. Most people really don't care. And I think that's like a hard truth of making content is, most of us act like when I see these posts, people are talking about, oh, I've got so much, I'm so scared to like show people these things on live stream or on video. And, I think that comes from perspective. Like you're imagining this audience of like 500,000 people that could potentially, buy your art or not. And the reality is, at least, it's just, until you reach that point, which is very few successful artists out there, it's like, it's not that, no one really cares. I don't know how else to really put that, just without, trying not to be too blunt. But I got all this garbage and I got to clean up. So am I BTS? Hey, am I BTS? I look like BTS, right? I hear that I look like BTS. But anyway, that's the starter of this. I got to clean up some garbage before I start this live stream. And what we're going to do here in a few moments is we're going to set up a new, what's up, Lele, and my BTS behind the scenes. And my BTS, the famed Korean rock band. Maybe if you feel like I look like a BTS member, feel free to comment and let me know, because I'm sure that could be a good thing to be a copy of or something. So cleaning up some supplies, and then in a moment we're gonna start our next still life. And all of you are hopefully going to help me prepare my next still life and decide what goes here. What is going to go onto this palette here? So I got to get rid of this because we already did this one. So we've already done this. And one thing that I wanted to start with today that I definitely wanted to have in this is this colorful little vase of flowers here. This is going to be our our next starter piece for what we're going to have. And then what I'm also going to do is we're going to put on this little antique fake set of flowers here. And really what I'm looking for now from all the thoughts from everybody is maybe like 1 or 2 more objects that would make this piece feel complete. But I gotta arrange this a little bit because I still want this flower vase to show. Maybe we put that there. Let's see how that looks. I want the vase to show. So maybe we put this at like an angle. I really want these fruits to be prominent in this. So I'm trying to find like a great arrangement that looks good. And then maybe we just need 1 more object. Here we go, I got something. Got a little bookend here. Try to move him toward the front here. Gonna move that like so, like so. And just trying to find the right like arrangement that gives it a nice look. Maybe move this a little forward. Let me see how this looks from the front. You know what? I want to move this forward just a little bit more. And then let this sit around like so. So I get the apples. These apples in the back are really prominent. So I'm going to get these grapes here. And it's so great that my partner has all this stuff. Has all these things. And I want 1 more item to sit here. If anyone has any ideas, feel free to share. If anyone has any ideas, feel free to share. We need 1 more item to fill this space. So let's go with the little mouse. Let's find a good spot for this mouse. Can opener? You think we should put it? Oh, we should put an inanimate object? Still looking. I feel like I need one more object. Because this feels like very nature-y. I like the scene, but it feels like unbalanced. Because the left side feels so tall, but the right side kind of the right side is missing some height. It feels a little unbalanced. Let's see, what if we do? I want to find a good sense of balance here. No. Well, yeah, I kind of like this apple in the background. I need one more thing.
Did you see what I sent you?
No, what'd you send me?
It was, somebody made a recreation of this Klimt painting.
Oh yeah?
With two cats.
Oh yeah?
As the people.
Oh, that's hilarious. I feel like I've seen that.
So cute.
I've definitely seen that before.
Where's the white cat?
Maybe I need a random, like, tool. I need a tool. What shall I do? What shall I do? A hammer, an allusion to the soup can or can opener, or a hammer. Let's see, we need an allusion or an actual hammer. What's up, Pookie? So I know some of you must be thinking I should have had this prepared before I started this live stream, but I wanted to make this, you know, this whole like process like part of the example, you know, to like this setup from setup to takedown.
Yeah, me too.
So that's what I'm working on now. I wanted to include that element of the process, so that's what I'm thinking. And it's just a matter of finding one more piece, because again, this has like this sliding effect right now, like big to small to medium, and it just feels as if there's like a level of balance that's not happening. Or maybe if I just rearrange them. Maybe if I just rearrange these things. Maybe it should be facing in. Let me see if I can find one more. Just gotta find one more thing. One more thing.
That's good exercise.
It's definitely a bad sign when I'm feeling stuck. We did say hammer. If I can find my hammer.
Well, I like to swim in the ocean or a lake, natural body of water. Oh, me too. Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah, I love the ocean. But I almost drowned not last year, 2 years ago, Costa Rica, because of an undertow. And I'm a good swimmer, so I wasn't even concerned, right? And all of a sudden I realized, wow, how do I get this far from shore? I can't even put my feet down. I can't swim back to shore. Holy crap. And then the waves got big and they were like knocking me under the water, and I was getting...
That's kind of random. Like a helmet.
So grateful. My daughter tried too, but he was like, no, I got this. You're so lucky, you just stay in the same place. And he was mad at her too. He's like, don't ever try to save somebody if there's a lifeguard around. Oh wow, good for you.
How do we do this?
I
like he needs a light bulb.
Because part of the test was that the instructor was going to pull you underwater and fight you in the rescue, and you had to get out of his chokehold and like rescue him.
Is this too random? Is this hammer just sitting here a bit too random?
Underwater, and I was like, no.
Yeah, we didn't have anything traumatic like that. We had to swim when we were tested. We had to swim like the 1600s in less than 8 minutes. It was hard, you know. Like, and I was on the swim team, and I was a good swimmer, and I was like just under, like.
Oh. How far is that? How far do you have to swim?
I don't even know anymore. I did know back then, like 40 laps. You know. It was a lot.
Now, let me see if I can even see this.
I was just
Got the hammer and the base standing up. I just feel like it's gonna be too. The balance of this. It's gonna be too. It's like it just feels unbalanced. Or maybe what I could do. Let's go with a hammer. And then try to move this over here. Try to create like a sense of balance by swapping this around. Pookie, you know you're not supposed to be there, huh? There's a hammer there. So the question becomes, is it okay to have this many random items in one place? Or does it just look too random? Pokey. I think we could do without the light bulb. I think we could do without the light bulb. We just gotta find a good arrangement for the hammer. Obviously the cat should be in there, but she won't stay still for more than a few minutes, so Pookie, you gotta get down, girl. Pookie, get down. Come on. Go eat your salmon. Get and eat your salmon. Did you hear me? Hey, what about this toy? Alright, Pookie, come on. Get off of there. Am I gonna have to pick you up and put you down? Huh? Pookie, come on. Don't make me pick you up. Alright, is this feeling more balanced? I just want this to feel balanced. So I can move this to the back, move this a little to the front so the lighting's a little better. And then we can go, and this one's gonna be facing, got this little story going on with it sitting in there. This little mouse eating. Be a little bit forward. Just trying to find the right. There we go. Actually, that might be pretty good. What's everyone think? Feels like a balanced scene with a couple of random objects. Something that I want is I want this cat wants to be in the painting. Yes. I want to make this towards the inside. Maybe if we rotate this forward a little bit, it'll create like a better density. Oh, you know what? Let's try one more angle. Just because I don't like this little gap in the center. So I'm trying to think like, if we go like this and have him sitting there in the middle, chilling amongst. Maybe move this forward. And have him wrap his tail around here. What are we thinking? All right, I think I think this is it. A little bit of a story there. Maybe if I could show this mouse's face a little bit, like turn it towards us so you kind of, so you could think. It's a little bit more space. Let's see, maybe right there. How's that? Why does nobody teach you these things? See, what's the issue that I'm having with this is it looks like nothing's overlapping. So I feel like it's just going to be too flat. Like, I think the heights are okay at this point, like the balance, the height balance. But I feel like the overall is going to be like too flat. Just doesn't look like there's a lot of depth. What if we do something totally different? Let's pull this. Stop, change it up. Stop thinking in the box. Think out of the box compared to what we've been doing. And we're going to do this. So, bam. Something like this. How's that look? I don't know. Let's move this toward the back here a little bit. Push this toward the wall so it doesn't fall. No accidents, no kitty accidents. Because I don't really need the jar back there. I don't care about the jar. And then this one just kind of, this guy just kind of feasting, huh? Little feasting rat. All right, actually, that's a little bit better. Towards the sleeping fella, tipping the hammer. Oh, dude, that is a story. All right, let's see how we can make that happen. Let's see how we can make the mouse tilting the hammer towards the fella. So I want to move this forward a little bit. Almost there. Almost there. I think the mouse needs to sit in the front of this so we can better see what it is for the sake of visual coherence. All right, this is it. So let's see, what canvas am I going to use for this? I gotta find a good canvas to put this on. Something that's dry that I'm also comfortable painting over. All right, we're gonna leave this up to a vote. What's up, Cup of Joel? We're gonna leave this up to a vote. So, which painting should I paint over for this next masterpiece here? We're gonna either do this one. Now, let me actually move this painting out of the way here. So we're either gonna do this one or this one. Which one is someone least likely to buy? This one's bigger. It's going to give me more room to work with. But I'm thinking this one. I think this one's going to be the less sellable as far as a top piece, as far as a individual piece. But I definitely think this is also going to give a wider range of color. But I will have the challenge of having all these colors to paint on top of. So let's see. Or do I want the bigger piece, the piece that's nice and big? And I could save this one for another day. No, I think I could save, I'm going to save this one. This top one. And let me see if this actually even fits onto here. So what I'm seeing definitely fits. What to do, what to do. Which one? I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna hold on to this one. We're gonna paint over that piece in the back. So we've got it. There we go. There's our piece that we're gonna be painting over. And let's see, it's going to be horizontal because it is a landscape perspective. So we're going to do this. Move a little closer. And I should put in some headphones. Get some headphones in so that I can listen to something while I'm working on this. Get a drink of water before we get started. So if anybody needs a break before we get started, now's a good time. Oh, where's my phone? See my phone? All right. Let's put on some painting music. I'm gonna throw on some painting music. Obviously, I won't be playing it on the live stream because then I get copyright. Oh, Mizu, I don't know how you get away without copyright issues when you play music. Or maybe you do get copyright issues, but you don't care. But let's get started. We're gonna listen to some self-help tapes that I can listen to in the background. Personal growth tapes. It's gonna be called The Inner Winner by Dennis Waitley. And let's start with some basic supplies first. We're going to do the most basic part of this painting first. And here we go. I'm gonna push this up against it, bring this down to lock it into place, because I'm gonna get pretty rough with it. Here we go. Lock it in place. And let's pop open some. His fault. Yeah, Omizu has a way with getting people interested in expanding this digital art community. You have a gift for community growing, Omizu, and I hope that you continue to expand that. It is absolutely great that you do that. If anyone here is an artist here right now, and you're just lurking, just know that this isn't a tutorial page. This is a, let's just draw, paint, and then because we love to, or because it's part of our career, and chat if we want to. But also know a lot of artists are pretty private, private. So, I get it when people don't like to share their stuff. But as far as I go, I'm pretty much an open book. Very open book. So what I'm doing now is I start with some oil pastels. And I use a variety of oil pastels, both good and average quality. And that's how I sketch out my design. So let's do that. Let's start this off. I'm going to start with, there's so much red here, so let's just start with some red here. I'm going to mark the bottom here. And here we go. And I'm going to bring that up, bring this around. Let me just make sure I have enough space to put a lot more of this stuff here. So we're going to bring that up, down, and around. We're going to go let me measure the lengths here. Need something to measure some lengths, so I'll go on grab a handy dandy paintbrush. Let me see, the length of that should be about the length of that from the 2 feet. Should be about to the length of that. So length of the 2 feet right here, that, and then a little bit more. So just a little bit more. This sombrero needs to start right about here. Actually, you know what? Let me bring this up. And you can't see too much of what I'm doing right now, but basically just preparing the basic sketch. Obviously, things can totally change, but this is a idea that I've really wanted to work with, which is incorporating oil pastel into my paintings. So this is a little bit of a not regular technique, not traditional technique, and it can cause quite a stir because, well, it's oil pastel. It's not oil paint, which can cause a lot of issues. You know, if you're trying to get very technical style of art, this is totally not the way to go, because there's so many reasons why this could, so many reasons why, if you're a traditionalist, this is not the way to go. If you really want to be traditional, you gotta, you know, gotta get that underpainting, do a nice sketch, plan it out really nicely and all that. So again, this is not a tutorial channel. But, you know, if you want to go for like some textured effects, if you want to experiment with materials, if you like the texture and the way colors interact and things like that, then this can actually be a interesting idea. But it is definitely not the regular way to go. So here's the apple right here. Let me get my pear right here. I probably should be using a more contrasting color so that I can more easily see things. So I'm gonna pull up this like neon green. And we got this apple right here. And then we're gonna have a hammer. And then let's see, we're gonna go right across the elbow here. And let's see how we go from here. I'm gonna go, I need to draw some shapes here. I need to draw an apple. I need to draw a leaf right here, and an apple, a pear. Gonna come right around here. And a couple of shapes. It's gonna be a leaf right here in the front. And then we're gonna go a red apple right there. And yes, I am just drawing little circles to represent the shapes that I'm doing. And let's find our, we're gonna go and then this little mouse here. The head is about 1.5 times, so this is going to be the head. So 1.5 times, that's about right. I guess some of this paint's going to peel off because I painted it so thickly that it's just going to happen. But let's go right here. This little mouse right here is going to come up. Got this piece right here. And we're going to go some plants here. And we're gonna go. Let's see, where's this mouse? Mouse is right here. Let's try to color that in right here. And then here we go. And then right here. And then let's go right here with some of the shapes right now. This one is going to go over. Right about the mouse, there's going to be all sorts of greenery, a little bit of greenery above the head. Let me just shape out what's going to be around here. And I think we got the basic sketch. No one can really see it. When do I graduate from Crayola crayons? What's on the menu tonight? So this is on the menu for tonight. Bam. That's our menu. Here's what we got. I will never graduate from Crayola crayons. That is my eternal device. So let's go ahead and we're going to go start with this brown right here. Crayons are forever. Crayons are the best medium because we can all start with crayons. Everybody starts with crayons. It's like every child has crayons. It is the crayons are the great equalizer of art. And I am totally just saying random things. How can I support that argument? Let me think. What makes crayons a great equalizer? Everybody has access to crayons pretty much from the moment that they're born because they don't hurt. They're usually non-toxic. They're easy. They're cheap. They're like colorful but not overly messy. And it all just goes uphill or downhill from there. The sketch is sketched. Yes, the sketch is sketched. And here's what we're doing. So dropping down some materials. Crayons suck. What did crayons ever do to you? Let's just start bringing in some ochres here. I'm going to bring in an ochre right here. All right, here's a good message. No matter how much time you've wasted in the past, you have time tomorrow. we are all fortunate to have tomorrow. I'm getting this quote from Dennis Waitley as I'm listening to him on a personal growth program. It is a great program. But right now, building up some color. If you feel like you've wasted time for whatever reason, no matter how you spent your time in the past day or the past week or whatever, just know that we're all lucky. Everybody here right now has tomorrow. Yes, everyone here right now has tomorrow. And I think it's safe to assume that, at least. And it is a wonderful thing to have tomorrow, to have the opportunity to be able to do our best with it, isn't it? That wasn't really a question. That was just to get everybody thinking. Dennis, I only have now. But all that time is wasted time. Yes, it may be. Does anybody here know who Dennis Waitley is? Or am I the only one? Has anyone else ever heard of Dennis Waitley? I'm a big fan of Dennis Waitley. He's a good guy. He is a good guy. I'm going to go like this. There's so much red right in here. Do not waste the now. That's right. Do not waste the now. We all right now have the now. We're not promised tomorrow, although I'm pretty certain that most of us will have tomorrow. I don't want to jinx anybody, but most of us have tomorrow that are watching this right now. And here we go. So drawing in some red here. Let's give our helmet some color right now. What's a good color for this helmet? We're going to go with the light. We're going to go with a reddish brown here. This is good. I think this is brown. Ah, I took the color off, so I can't really tell, but I'm pretty sure this looks red, but it is a brown. It's like a burnt sienna. What's up? What's up, Omizu? Who here has written down a goal? I think that's important. I've been listening to a lot about goal setting lately. And you know what? I realized that although I think goals, I have not necessarily set a clear and definite goal in a while. And I think it is about time. Now, I'm not going to share my goal specifically, but I think it's a good time to share this thought, this idea, this idea with everybody, right? Is anybody here against having goals? Who here doesn't like having a goal in their life? Who here has a philosophy that setting goals is a bad thing? You're banned. Just kidding. Here we go. Got some grapes right here. Got another grape right here. But my goodness, anytime I try to tell myself that I'm goal driven or whatever, and then I really think about when the last time I set a goal was, I usually find that I need to calibrate, and that I have not done so in a while, and that I should calibrate. So, yes. If anyone wants to try an exercise right now, I am Michael's favorite artist. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Michael. Be sure to tell your local curator be sure to tell your local favorite curator, and you know, we can work from there. Maybe I could get a show at your local gallery. Let's make that a goal. So here we go. Whether you believe in goals or not, I think they're important. So let's go like this. Our mouse needs, let's make our mouse a blue mouse. So we're gonna go, I just want it to stand out a bit better. And finding my shapes here for this mouse. The West Gallery. So Michael, do you know anybody at the West Gallery? You're not talking about Chevron West, are you? The free spirit, yes. Let's all be free spirits. We are all free spirits. Some of us just don't know it. Some of us just have not accepted the fact that we are a free spirit. And I hope that by me saying that is enough to get somebody to be like, you know what? Emmett is right. I am a free spirit, and I just haven't realized it yet. See, Omizi, you don't need to set that as a goal because you already are a free spirit. You already are, dude. You just need to claim the freedom. Just claim it for yourself. You gotta say, I am a free spirit. Just look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am a free spirit 100 times. With emphasis. With exclamation. And there you have it. You will be a free spirit. That's all. That's all you need to do. So here we are. We're painting, people. We are painting along, making some wonderful pieces of art. Let me just see what's going on here. We've got so many like little sections here. This is going to be a hard one to paint because I have so much stuff here in the background that I really am curious to see how this all comes together, because there's just so much stuff in the background that needs to like be painted over. But that is what creates our challenge, our interest. I'm going to use the silver for our Michael, you're going to help me get my first show out near where you live? Let me use some of our Sennelier colors, because you know, might as well not let them go to waste, right? Let's allow our Sennelier colors to shine a bit here. We're going to go with a darker rouge right down in the bottom here. Let me see, how am I going to color this background? How do we want to do this background here? Since we got these greens, we got these yellows, these reds, red, green, red, orange, yellow, green, red, yellow, green. The opposite of yellow is purple. So let's go for like red, yellow, green. Red, yellow, green. Let's find like a light purple to fill in this background. Actually, you know, instead of a purple, we're going to go with this color. I don't know what color this is. It's like a... What would y'all call this color? It's like a... It's not a baby blue. It's got a hint of purple to it. And let me put a couple other colors for comparison. I got this teal right here. And I got this... I would call this a true purple. So, and then this is obviously the baby blue. You think light green? No, because all the leaves are going to be green. I need to go with a reddish purple, I think. No, green and red are already complementary. Red, so we need the complement of yellow, I think, which would be purple. We need like a light purple. Or like a light blue purple. Either this one, maybe this one. I gotta undo the paper. I will definitely add a lot of green. We're gonna add a lot of green, that's for sure, because of all the leaves and stuff. But for now, I want to make sure that I get some of this purple down. Here's a purple. Oh, let's see which one's. That's a good purple. This is really challenging because I'm painting over this surface that's like really rough. I like this idea of painting over these rough surfaces to give it like this extra texture, but I also got to accept that it creates some interesting challenges. And let's see. Ah. What did Omi say? Dark purple. Take away the black from this guy. Take away all my... You think I use too much black paint? Honestly, I think using black paint in paintings builds character. I'm going to go with that statement. Using black paint as an oil painter builds character. Because not only are you breaking so many rules and quotations, you break so many rules because everyone's like, oh, well, it doesn't occur naturally. You know, not only are you giving yourself the opportunity to break rules, but it's also a challenge to work with. You got to be comfortable. You got to be really comfortable with working with the paint. Builds character, and character is good. So I'm trying to fill in the rest of the space here with this. Yeah, that's true. It definitely looks. Grab my brush too. Are you sure you two don't know each other in person? I swear you two would be like best drinking buddies together. You and Michael and Omizu. Isn't it great how you two have found each other? You're fantastic crap talkers, shit talkers. Excuse my language. All right, well, that's enough purple. Let me see. How much more of this purple can I use? Look how small this purple is. I'm trying to use up the rest of it. Probably need to grab a you grab a pastel crusher. Actually, I need to grab a harder one. Where is my palette knife? My good palette knife. My good hard palette knife. I'm missing the palette knife that I need. All these other palette knives are too soft. They bend. Which is not what I want. I don't want a bendy palette knife. Sadly, that just might be what I have to work with. And now I need like a soft one. We're gonna go use a soft pastel here. The LA slasher. Where'd you get that from, Omizu? Oh, because I said palette knife. I see what you're saying. Man. Here we go. Just continuing to build this up. Wow. Who has experienced flow lately? Who has felt like they have had a sense of flow lately. That sense where time just kind of like disappears. The world just shifts around you. The world goes, but you just get so sucked into what you're doing. You get so engaged into your activity that none of it really matters. All of it is just part of you. These textures are really pretty raggedy that I've got on here. Dondrell. Dondrell. What was your so Dondrell, what sort of inspirations have you had today? Do you have any epiphanies, interesting thoughts, ideas that you really want to, and you don't have to share your ideas obviously, but just generating ideation. So let's go with the light green down here, and we're going to go just chilling today. Dondrell, do you care if I read some of the wisdom from your live stream? Well, I mean, from your YouTube channel. We're gonna go pop into Dondrell's YouTube channel and try to pull some inspirational ideas. I'm about to pilfer some ideas from Dondrell's YouTube channel. Some wonderful words of wisdom or words of poetry. Let's see. Let's pop over to Dondrell's channel. If you have any objections, let me know. Let's see. How do I find these? Art and creativity is elevating. Yes, I'd agree. By the way, do you make this quote yourself? So this says, there are all kinds of artists in the world. If people can combine the talent that they have inside of them with the hard work that it takes to develop it, they become a true artist of some kind. Is that... I'd be curious. So it looks like this part is handmade, but I can't tell if this part is something you made. But either way, I mean, this is great. Many ways. Oh, some poetry. We're going to read some Dondrell poetry right now. I believe this is his. I don't know for sure. Oh. But many ways, you'll find many ways to say I love you. You'll find many ways to understand what love is. Many ways, many ways, many ways to say I love you. Singing, cleaning, drawing, being, understanding, love you. My man, Dondrell, giving, sharing, and spreading love. Fantastic. The man, Dondrell. I love like some of your like video titles, you know, just discipline, dedication, determination. Powerful. Just the tip will do. Hilarious. Brilliant. I feel like she lives in my frame. I probably have to watch it to have context, but still. Everything's just fine the way it is. Simple but profound, you know. I like that. Spreading wings to fly. Oh my gosh. Love this painting, dude. This is great. I didn't actually watch you do this one, but this massive figure flying. That's great, dude. Stay in the mix, create constantly. Amazing, powerful. Yeah, anytime I like pop into anytime I pop onto Dondrell's like page here, I'm like, oh man, I just need like one message from him and I'm like ready to go. It's like, well, we could definitely look at his work, but this piece right here that he was working on, I'm like, this is awesome. Look at that workspace. That is an amazing workspace. That is the workspace of the incredibly professional artist. All right, let's see. Oh, where'd it go? Where's here we go. Look at this massive painting that he's working on. Oh man. That's incredible. Love it. This is so cool. That's a cool painting. I don't know if it ever got finished yet, but when I catch Dondrell's live streams, I only catch them like sections at a time. But I haven't had a chance to like watch a whole live stream. But I think it's kind of cool to see this like transition right now as I'm actually taking some time to like scroll through them and just seeing how like it's like this big adventure, you know, from one masterpiece to another, to another, to another, to another, to whatever, man. That's great, man. Wow. So let's see, I don't know if these shorts actually say messages. When going astray is the way. I like that. I can vibe with that. Your thoughts make the world. Fantastic. Artists see colors on the Venice Beach Boardwalk. Yeah. Let's see. Enjoy the present day. Very creativity wins all ways. There we go. So what he's saying is that what he's saying is video you can't hear because I have my headphones in, but he's saying this is on the Venice Beach Boardwalk. So that's where he works. That's where he shows his art. There you go. Cash register. Dude, I didn't know you had a cash register. That's so cool. Awesome, man. There you go. And if only y'all could hear what he's saying, because if y'all could only hear what he says, because his video just states, you know, the title, but if you actually listen to him, it's pretty powerful. Great stuff, man. Dondrell has the voice of like, you know, just a great artist. Just that powerful, just a musical quality to it, you know? It's really chill to listen to. Actually, who really knows like what the voice of an artist is? But I meant like he's just got that really chill, like, oh yeah, I could listen to that. That like not a DJ FM voice, not a late night DJ FM voice, but like a, you know, oh yeah, this just feels really cool. You know, this is just I could just listen to like a song with him just talking on it, but not necessarily needing the singing. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't know what I mean. I don't know. But yeah, it's amazing. So here we go. That was a extended share of Dondrell Lee Artistry's channel. He's here right now. And here we go. Let's get back to this chaos. I love being able to see something evolve out of chaos. Like what right now looks like this giant mess and all these like specks of paint and little areas that make no sense, and you're like, what the heck is being painted? Especially if you're coming in now compared to, you know, when we were designing the thing earlier, when we were designing space earlier. It's like I just love this idea of being able to make something out of this wildness. So, oh, I threw away all my all my paper towels or my cloth wipers. So I need to go get some. So Dontrell, have you practiced your voice, or did that just come naturally to you? Did you just practice that, like, you know, that poetic, artistic voice? Have you had to hone and train it? All right, let's see how we do this. What I'm working on right now is I want to go in with this and scrub it around with this thing. So I'm trying to find a good material here. Just learning and applying. Wonderful, man. So this is a bottle of mineral spirits. There we go. Awesome, man. More confident. The goal is to be more confident. That's fantastic. That's a powerful statement right there. Because we all know that no matter what happens in life, if you can be confident about what you're doing, you know, if you can feel more confident, be more confident, you're generally going to be, you know, happier. It affects every area, from the work that you do to how people respond to you. It's great. I like it. So let's see how this actually works. I wonder if this is actually going to have an effect, or if I'm just scrubbing off stuff. I don't know. We'll find out. It looks like at this point that I'm just scrubbing stuff off, which is whatever. It's not necessarily a good thing. Yeah, I'm kind of just rubbing stuff off. So I don't want to keep going this route. Let me try something else. I don't like what that was doing. Right now I'm just playing around before I get into the serious painting session. But let's see, maybe, I think what I need, maybe a smooth surface. Let me try a smooth surface. Like, let me use an actual pair of gloves to try to spread this around. So I'm actually going to use an old worn pair of gloves instead of my current gloves, because I don't want to make a hole in the current gloves. But let's just see if this does anything, you know, just, does it actually scrub and like spread? Or am I just causing friction on this painting? I don't know. I'd like to see what can possibly happen with all the different things that I experiment with. I think it's working a little bit, you know, it's helping to spread some of the color, to fill in some space, albeit not in the best way, but it is doing something. Create a smoother piece. There we go. It's kind of cool. It just gives it an effect. All right, let's go. Before we do that, let's keep going in. We're going to go into some yellow here. And then we're going to go with these arms right here. And let's see. So we're going to go right here and bring in some more color into this section, right down over this way. And I think I'm going to use some white just because there's some dust here. So I want to capture some of the dust. That's a little too much. It's a little too bright there. So we're gonna blend that in, grab some of this brown here, and just bring that up. Speaking of which, I have painted this exact figure before, but I decided I want to do it again because why not? Why not do something more than once? Excuse me. All right, and here we go. We're gonna go give some shadow into the arm here. I want to create the majority of how this is going to look ahead of time. And you know what? I'm going to use a dark blue. We're going to go with a dark blue for the bottom of this hat rather than trying to go for the brown. It'll be easy to just do brown and make it look right, but you know what? I don't want to do that. I don't want to make it too easy. You know, I want to have a I don't want to make it too easy in a sense of, you know, if I make everything too easy, like just exactly like it's supposed to be, I feel like it takes away from my personal overall enjoyment of this process. In a sense of, you know, it's nice to just find that unique expression of yourself, right? When you're painting spontaneously, and definitely Dondrell is one of the masters of this that I know of. You know, when you paint in an expressive way without too many rules, you know, your habits, your intuition, your personal ideas, your quirks, they all get put into a painting, and you know, it becomes this unique piece. And that I find is an interesting thing to keep track of as an artist, because you know, you can really see how work evolves over time. I was just writing this on my Instagram the other day, how, you know, it's kind of cool when if you ever follow an artist over time, you know, you either see that they had like a couple moments where it just like suddenly their work just totally transformed. Like Jackson Pollock went from like, you know, painting landscapes to suddenly just like, maybe not suddenly, but going to painting his abstract action expressionism. Or, you know, Gustav Klimt, who we were talking about the other day, and how he basically started off as a decorator and eventually was able to transition that commercial career as a decorator into this brilliant and talented maker of decorative paintings. So here we go. Monet. What is the story of Monet? What makes you bring up Monet? Just so I can get the context of what you're saying here. And let's go like this. And we're going to go paint up some of the color. I want to add in some of the structural details ahead of time. I want to add some of the structural details. And what I mean by that is, like, you know, some of the shadows, the darker shades of each color into this, so that I can, you know, easily know where to paint. It just helps me figure out some of the areas once I do start painting. Otherwise, it could be a little bit too messy and confusing. But if I shape it out now, I can pretty much, you know, start to figure out how this is all going to play out once I actually start painting. And honestly, I actually like the way it looks right now, as far as finding just the right shape, the right form, and all that. So Monet did surreal paintings. Yeah, I guess if Monet came after the Impressionists, you might even say that he was definitely a surrealist in his own right, man. I could make that argument. I'd be willing to make that argument that Monet was as much a surrealist as he was an impressionist. Why not? Why not? I mean, I could think of a bunch of reasons why not, but for the sake of this, we can keep the argument. So let's go like this. And how are we going to define this little mouse here? We're going to add some. Let's add some. Let's add a little bit of purple. That's one thing about this. These paintings is it's kind of it's nice to just like mess around and have this like abstracted, unusual design, and then once I get into it, to like build it up into something more specific, more easily recognizable. And part of me wants to be like, hey, let me just take this and leave it like this. But because I actually paint these live, I feel like, why not just, I already have the record of this. So I can, go beyond this and do something more, expand upon these ideas, expand upon the idea here. So this is just a beginning. What are these crazy little figures? Just helps me to establish little color areas so that when I do finally paint, it becomes pretty easy. And let's find, I don't know what I'm going to do because I'm going to have to buy some more oil pastels again since I've been using them so heavily recently. And I don't know what I'm going to do if I just start to run out of like one or two colors. Like, do I need to buy the whole pack again or whatever? And I don't buy oil pastels the same way that I buy oil paint. Like anytime I see a sale, I pretty much invest in some oil paints. But I am a bit less likely to totally just spend on oil pastel. So here we go. We're adding in these bright greens. Are you happy, Michael? We're finally adding in these bright greens. So
do you want a smash burger?
Can't hear you. What?
Do you want a smash burger?
Yeah, I'll take a smash burger.
Okay,
wow, how lucky am I? Kat, my partner, my girl, she just offered to make a smash burger. If y'all don't know what that is, it's basically a hamburger that's like smashed, right? It's like crushed, so it's a little bit crispy around the edges. And by the way, if you're ever in Los Angeles, I'm going to recommend a hamburger that's really unique. For the Win. For the Win is an amazing, incredible hamburger restaurant.
Yeah, it was really good.
It is one of the best hamburgers I've ever had. They make a smash burger. Now, I don't know exactly where all their locations are, but my goodness, if you are in Los Angeles and you want an amazing hamburger, it's like, there's just something about it that just makes it so delicious. It might be the flavor. Well, obviously it's the flavor, but it might be like, I don't know if it's a seasoning that they use or like the way that it's made. By the way, I don't know if everyone, if you don't eat beef, obviously, this would be irrelevant, but, it is pretty delicious. And it is one of the best hamburgers I've ever actually ate. I love it a lot. And For the Win, it's an amazing, amazing hamburger that they make. Highly recommend it. But here's an idea that I just discovered from Mr. Dennis Waitley. Is failure is a practice. You can practice failure. That's his idea. That's a theme. I would recommend looking up Dennis Waitley if you want to hear what he has to say about it. But basically, failure is a habit. Failure is something that you practice. And I like that idea because you know what? That means that you can practice your way out of a failure, that you can practice, that you can eliminate a sense of this idea of failing. Interesting, right? Some may disagree, but I like what he's saying, so I'm going to share it. So let's go like this. We're going to add some of this color right in here. I am such a lucky guy that Kat is going to make me some smash burgers. She found out that I love the smash burger so much that she was like, hey, I'm going to learn how to make you a smash burger, Emmett. How lucky is that? My goodness. If somebody is winning, it's me. But yes, without getting too celebratory, yes, I'm sharing my gratitude. So here we go. I'm going to sketching in some areas where I see lights. And when I mean lights, I mean like areas that are lighter than the area around it, so that I can start to build this up, just building up color by color, shadow by shadow, light by light, bit by bit, piece by piece, section by section, that allows me to create highlights, different colors. And you know what? Like, I'm looking at this, and now you can see as I've colored over a lot of the area, you can start to see how this is all going to come together, which is great. I do admit, anytime I start one of these, I start off pretty nervous because I'm like, how am I possibly going to turn this into something that actually makes sense? And I do have that mentality, not the mentality, but I do have that concern. But I actually enjoy that feeling because, you know, it's like you allow yourself to unconsciously create something great, right? There's like something that comes out of this chaos. And I think that is the exciting part of the craft of painting. So here we go, building up some colors here. We're going to go I'm going to need a less hard oil pastel. So there's a difference between these different oil pastels I'm about to share with y'all. So here's a Craypa oil pastel. Here's a Craypa oil pastel. And they consider extra fine quality. Now, I don't know exactly what extra fine quality means, but that's how I like to use the word from the company of how they define it. So look at this. This is a Craypa, the extra fine quality oil pastel. What you see here is that, you know, the color's barely going on, but this is great if you're using this into spaces that don't have any oil pastel already. You can see the color comes right off, right? The color comes right onto the canvas. But what happens, look at this Craypa right here. Let's like make a little circle right there, right? Pretty much nothing. If you feel like you're not seeing anything, that's because that's the point, right? Now let me grab one of these. These are my Paul Rubens oil pastels. And then let's look what happens. You can instantly see that it pops up with this bright yellow. So that's the difference between, I don't want to say a good pastel or a bad pastel, because, you know, all pastels have different purposes or whatever. And Craypa is considered extra fine quality, and Paul Rubens doesn't define a quality. They just consider them artist colors, artist pastels. So, you know, that's the difference between the harder oil pastels and a just a general like an oil pastel that you get that's like made from an oil pastel company versus like anything else. That's the difference between different oil pastels, whether they're fine quality, extra fine quality, artist quality, whatever. But typically what you'll find with brands like Paul Rubens or Sennelier is that you will get a pastel that you can layer on top of a bottom layer, right? Same thing, same principle. Like this is, you can layer this on top of the hard pastel, but you can't really layer this on top of a soft pastel, right? It kind of just spreads it around. So, you know, two soft pastels don't go together, but a soft pastel, softer oil pastel goes well on top of a hard oil pastel. So I don't necessarily like to say like one's better than the other. You just got to know, you know, once you buy your oil pastel, figure out, hey, this is how I'm going to use it. This is how I can use it. And then, you know, you figure it out. You basically figure it out from there. That's my oil pastel. But again, like, I don't use oil pastels exclusively in pretty much anything I do right now. I'm going to paint over all this anyway. So the oil pastel is really just to add a layer of texture. And, you know, I'm actually curious to see what the effects are, which makes it more experimental, like an experimental thing that I do. And at some level, layering paint on top of an oil pastel is not recommended because oil pastel technically never dries. So because of that, what could happen that they say is that, you know, what happens when you put something that dries on top of something that doesn't dry? You can only imagine what that does. But I'm a stubborn guy. Sometimes I like to see exactly what happens for myself, which is sometimes like a toxic quality, you know? Like if someone tells you not to touch a stove because you're going to get burned and you touch a stove anyway, you know, and you get burned, that's your fault, right? So my parents one time told me not to touch the cactus, and I started playing with the cactus and I fell on it, and that's how I learned that cacti are bad. That's when I learned that they hurt. So, you know, but I think when it comes to artwork, where nobody actually has the potential to get hurt from this,
Where's their orange?
I love the experimentation. I'm totally for the experimentation. And who knows, maybe something good comes out of it. Probably won't survive 100, 200 years. But it is a worthwhile thing. I love seeing how oil pastel and oil paint come together on top of each other, and it's exciting. It is exciting. What's the point of painting, doing art, if you're not going to experiment? And, you know, when someone tells you not to do something, what's the point of actually not doing it? Like if someone tells you not to do something, in my mind, I'm like, why do you not want me to do that? Why? Why are you telling me not to study this way of doing things? Are you like? I think some mentors, they have the good intention of like, you know, helping you build good habits, but I think for modern art purposes, I guess there are some warnings. I don't know. I'm rambling about bad habits right now, which is the habit of getting advice from somebody who knows what they're talking about and then not totally listening to it and doing it anyway. Which in this case, you know, it is not recommended to paint on top of oil pastels because of the fact that oil pastels don't dry. But with that said, if you do it anyway, just be prepared for the consequences. And don't complain if your art does not survive 100 years from now. So here we go. Building into this. And here we go. I'm going to paint in some dark greens into this section right now, just so we have some colors to work on, and then paint in some lighter greens here, just up into here. This is like just to create this like textured effect here, to get this green into the space. And I just like how it's all coming along. It's coming along in its very own unique way. Let's get some of this wrapper off. And here we go. Go like that. And there's some space work here that I'm thinking I probably need a little bit more of. But let's see. I need some purple. So here we go. We're gonna go work this, mix these colors up, grab some red. I'm trying to grab some red right now so I could get in some grape colors right here. And go. And you know, here's I'm about to share someone that taught me about art who's not even an artist. And someone that I learned from is a book. It's a book titled Be Obsessed or Be Average. It's a great book. It's a motivational book. And you know what I like about the book? I love when a book title pretty much tells you the main idea, so that you can either choose to read it to get more details, or you can just listen to what the title says. And, you know, that's enough to get you going. And that's what I think the title of that book is, Be Obsessed or Be Average. Like this idea that all you really need to do, and it's by someone named Grant Cardone, if anybody's ever heard of him. But I just love the idea that if you could just be obsessed with anything, if you could just do one thing to get good at something or get better at something, if you could just do one thing, that's so easy to implement to get good. I'm not saying that's a guarantee way to become great or become a master or to wow everybody in your neighborhood. I'm not saying that, but if you want to just be above average, just one bit above average, one bit above the majority of people in any field, whether it be business or art or creative efforts and you know, I know some people are like, well, I don't want to be competitive. Competitiveness is horrible and it doesn't yield good results. It's not positive. It's toxic. That's not the competitiveness we're talking about, right? It's just your personal challenge. How good or bad or whatever do you want to be? And I think that book title explains it all. If I had to give one thing, if I had to say one thing that anyone could do, it's like, just read that book title and like go with it. Be obsessed. Just if you want to do something, if you want to get good at something, if you just learn one thing for any field, if you want one rule for any field to get good at it, just be obsessed with whatever it is. And I don't know, like, I stand by that. I love that book title. I've actually read it, but I haven't fully read every page or chapter. But I just think that concept is so powerful. Be obsessed or be average. That's it. That if you could just live by one rule, if you want to get good at something, if you want to be above average, just be obsessed with it. That's it. That's all you need to do. Whatever comes from that obsession is going to be above average. I would guarantee it. I would guarantee success being that you will, I would stand by that title. But yes, Be Obsessed or Be Average by Grant Cardone. You don't even need to read the book if you're the type of person that can just take an idea and run with it. If, you know, it helped me. That was the philosophy that I used to find some of my first clients from painting, some of my first commissions, is literally just being obsessed with it. I don't think that it came because, you know, if I was living by one rule, it wasn't from like going out and networking and trying to like do all this marketing stuff. It was literally just being obsessed with it, being so obsessed with it that when I got to meet that one person or those few people that wanted to commission me for pieces, you know, it's because I was obsessed with artwork, obsessed with painting, obsessed with the craft. And if I had to like pick one rule that I was actually living by, it's probably just being totally obsessed with art, painting, and such a powerful rule. And I don't know how many ways I could say it. I met this really great speaker the other day, and he told me like the same story. And he used to be like this really successful executive, and he told me the same exact story about him and how he grew up like 5 different times over the course of like 10 to 15 minutes. We were just chatting, and he told me the same story about him and his life over the course of 10 or 15 minutes, and I was actually pretty absorbed. So even though I was like, all right, man, I already heard this part, are you just like forgetting that you're telling me this stuff, or is there a method to this? And I couldn't help but think that, you know, if you're an executive at a company, you know, you've probably come to a point where you realize that most people forget 70% of the things you say. And that's why repetition is definitely necessary. And I really found that helpful as far as, you know, taking this idea that, although I've said this idea already, that I love this book, Be Obsessed or Be Average, that it's like a message that I could probably say 10 different ways, because it is just, I should say it 10 different ways, because it really is just that darn powerful and good of a message. So, you know, occasionally I get like questions from people who are asking me, oh, well, what do you think about my work? Or what can I do to draw better hands? Or what can I do can you look at this face that I drew and tell me what I should do to fix it? And my response is either one of two things. It's usually either draw 100 more, or I'll use a smaller number, like 20 to 50. Draw 20 or 50 more, and then tell me, and then show me them, and then I'll give you a critique. Because the truth is, if you draw 20 more hands, you know, you will find out what's wrong with your hands. But rarely has ever anyone really asked me, like, for abstract stuff. It's always technical. I don't know why. It's almost always like a technical thing. Like, hey, how do I draw a face? Why does my face look weird on this drawing? But I think, you know, any sort of like true critique that's non-technical would probably be best for like, you know, abstract stuff. But yeah, I like to like live by one sentence rules. Not all of them. I have my picks, right? So 2 rules that I basically live by as far as, you know, how I approach art is, 1, being obsessed or being average. I want to be an above average artist. I'll say that here and now, right? That is my goal. And I'm just obsessed with art. That's what I do. Whatever that means. It can mean, I don't want to tell you, I don't want to explain exactly what that means for me. What I do with that idea, because everybody's going to do it in different ways, and everybody should do it in their own way, because that's how you're going to come up with something cool, or interesting, or unique. But being obsessed or being average, and then another rule that's like a one sentence piece of advice that I heard from somebody. It was never make a boring painting. That's it. Like I've taken those two rules, and it has helped guide me in so much of my artwork, and so much of how I approach art and things like that. Never make a boring painting as far as just the artwork goes, and then being obsessed or being average as far as finding answers to what I want to do, figuring out how to do things well, just being obsessed. Like, that is absolutely brilliant in my opinion, as far as like a title. And it's like one of those sentences that is like so powerful that you already know what you have to do. You already know the answer that the book is providing to you, so you don't have to read it, but you still feel compelled to read it. But also the irony is, I think, and this is just me getting all philosophical, whatever. I think the reality is it by reading that book, you're kind of procrastinating on what you already know you need to do, which is to get obsessed with something. It could be anything, whether it be your job, being obsessed with your job and trying to get a raise, or being obsessed with your partner in like a healthy way, in like a healthy relationship way, not a creepy way. Like being obsessed with your relationship to help if you want a better relationship. Being obsessed with art, filmmaking, whatever it is. But hey, we're actually going to take a break right now. I'm not going to turn off this live stream, but my smash burger is ready, and I'm going to show it off. We're going to show off our smash burger right now after I wash my hands. But we're going to take a break to eat, and then I'm going to get back to this painting. Hold on, I still have my headphones in. Excuse me.
36, do you see?
It's not recording. Back to this be obsessed or be average idea.
Are you talking to me?
No, I'm talking
You're gonna talk
like back to this being obsessed or being a average idea. Like if I'm ever stuck in art, if I ever feel stuck or like I have a creative block, all I think is how can I be more obsessed with this? How can I be more obsessed with art? That's how I get over my blocks. That's how I get over my situations. So, all right, here's I'm just gonna share a nice dinner that my partner has prepared for me. Kat. It's a wonderful smashed cheeseburger. We're gonna knock this out before I mute this. But we'll be here. We'll be around. Look forward to seeing the messages after. We'll be back in probably take me like 10 minutes to eat this. All right, I'm back for a few minutes. The only thing you missed was a little ranty rant about some motivational stuff that I listen to. But we're back right now, and yeah, I just did a little ranty rant. About this book, this wonderful book that I feel is very inspirational, very motivational, and it's just one simple idea. And that one simple idea to get good at anything is to be obsessed or be average. And that's it. That's such a great book title right there. Be obsessed or be average. And it's great because you can just listen to that title. You can just read that title and feel like you know what you got to do. Especially when you're making artwork, when you're painting, and you're trying to get good at artwork. And there's so many answers from all over the place. There's all these courses and books, and maybe the answer is you need all of them. Or the answer is maybe you gotta just do more painting. But whatever the answer is, it just simply comes from this idea of totally becoming obsessed. And that idea just resonates with me, right? If I ever get stuck on painting something, if I ever get stuck on an idea, if I'm ever thinking about the truth of why I'm not doing something at the level that I want to do it, I can know the truth is because I wasn't obsessed enough with it, right? There's something that is not being fueled by my obsession, that my obsession is not carrying me, whether, because if you're obsessed with somebody, and I might even be quoting the book, I might even be literally just saying stuff that I heard from the book, but if you're obsessed with something, you want to tell people about it. You're not worried about whether they're going to like your artwork or not, because it doesn't matter because you're obsessed with it, right? It doesn't matter that somebody might think this is an ugly painting, because who cares? I'm obsessed with this painting. I'm obsessed with this. I'm obsessed with this art, this craft, this idea, this endeavor, this project. I am obsessed with it, and you know what? Nobody else can tell me differently. And I think that's just such a powerful guiding principle. And you know what? What's great about the book title too is it's not a promise of success. It's not a promise that you're going to become super great. It's not something that you use to be spectacular beyond imagination. It doesn't promise any of that, right? But through that title, what the title does give you is just a guiding message, a guiding voice, way to move forward with your life's goals and ambitions. And how do you do that? What is the answer? It's as simple as becoming obsessed with it. And yes, I would say that anyone that ever asked me what one piece of wisdom would I share? It's be obsessed with what you want to do. Be obsessed with the craft of painting. Be obsessed with your artwork. And I'm trying to find a good color, a good brush here. I'm obsessed with this brush, and I use it for almost everything. This one little brush. It's a size 3 Rosemary round. And right now we're going to get straight into the painting here. I'm going to use colors that I've already got before I get into the other colors. And let's just start with a little bit of a highlight right here. Just a little yellow highlight. And we're going to build in this yellow. Let's go with this yellow right around the edge right here. Cat, what's going on? Are you mouth farting?
I don't know.
It's a mouth fart right there.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Mouth fart. I met a couple who, this couple claimed that they'd been together for 10 years and they had not once ever heard the other fart.
That's right.
And although I trust them, I feel like they were the type of people that would not lie. It is so hard to believe. Like, how is that even possible? How can you live with somebody, be in a relationship with somebody, and not fart in front of them and know them for 10 years? That is just mind blowing to me. How is that possible? And I'm not like criticizing their relationship or anything. I'm just asking the question, like, how is it possible to not fart in front of somebody that you have lived with and been together with for 10 years? How is it possible that you don't fart in front of each other? I don't understand. But I guess it's possible, right? Like, anything's possible if you put your mind to it. Anything's possible. Anything that's been done by somebody else, that is possible for you as well. So anything is possible. And grab this yellow, grab some of this white. I'm going to mix in a yellow white here. We're just going to use this to just boom, boom. Going to add in some of the spaces here.
Hey, no. Nope, that's mine.
There we go.
No, it's mine.
And yes, I got a little bit on a little bit of a motivational speaking rant there, which, I guess sometimes I might, but only for the best, only to be helpful, to share some positive ideas that help to brighten up your day. That is the goal here. So we've got a shade of white right here. Let's go with our yellow paint. Let's go in with our red now. We're gonna grab some of this red and we're gonna come up with like this. Let's see, what kind of red do we get? This is a brighter red. So let's go for this one right here. This piece right here is gonna capture some of this. And it's nice because there is oil pastel underneath, which kind of gives it this like slick surface. There's a slick surface underneath, but it does give it like a shine, a sheen. A colorful sheen or shine to this. And we're just gonna go down like so. Let's go like right here. Just keep bringing in these colors, and what's going to happen is these colors are just going to build and build and build, and then eventually we will find a way forward. We will find an interesting way forward. So this yellow is built up there. We need this circle to like come right around here. This apple. And there we go. I'm gonna go paint another apple. Actually, this apple back here needs some color. And let's go like this. So bring this down. Right, like so. And here we go, adding in this wonderful red color into our space here. And then bringing this again into some of this space. What it really does is it helps to brighten up these colors quite a bit, liven up these colors. Create some dimension, helps us to separate our objects a bit. And right now we can all start to see. Thank you so much, Dondrell, going for a walk. Oh my goodness. All right, cool. Dondrell, going to take a walk. Cool. Thanks, man. Thanks for stopping by. Walks are the healthiest, probably some of the healthiest things you could do is regularly going for a walk. That's awesome, dude. All right, cool. So stay healthy, stay fit. Getting all the important things that you gotta do in life: health, creativity, all of that. So here we go. I'm gonna bring in some black. People have been trying to tell me not to use black, but I'm using it anyway. I'm gonna go right into this shadow right here. Give it a nice dark square. And we're gonna go. This is a area that is not in the light, so there's not much light getting to it. So it's gonna be nice. I'm gonna use the color black to create the contrast here. And also, there's a couple other things that this handle here could use good color. Let's go. Look at this huge chunk of paint I have on this. That is an unproductive chunk, because I can't tell whether it's just dry paint or whether it's wet paint. So here we go. We're gonna add that, and we're gonna bring this down right in here. We're gonna use that in this section right here. Let's see where else we can add some of this. Add it to the top right here. Bring some of this out into the bottom. And I want to reduce the length of this handle a little bit. So we're going to go like that, reduce the length of the handle. What is going on here? This is a grape.
What time did you say you want to watch the movie?
Like 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
Yeah, 20 minutes here. And let's see how we can keep building up this color. We're gonna go use this grab here. We're just gonna go into this grape color here, which is, we'll eventually add highlights on top of it later to create a spherical shape, but for now we're just building up where the light's not necessarily going. And let's find this mouse's shape here. Let's go. Got that. Got that. Bring that up. And bring these shoes down. Come across like so. And then bam. All right. So here we are. Let me go. Let me add some more colors. Probably add a little bit of this color right into here, just to help to separate some of the regions. Okay, and get some of this color into there. Let's clean off this brush, and we're gonna go find some else. By the way, for those of you tuning in now, we're probably gonna be wrapping up in a, not done, but we're gonna take a break in about, I don't know, 15 to 20 minutes. Or, oh yeah, we're gonna wrap up. We're not taking a break. We're gonna wrap up for the evening in about 15 to 20 minutes. But here's what I want to do. I want to paint over this purpley area. It's not purpley, it is purple. We're gonna paint over it. Use this brush. I like to try to keep my brushes in rotation because they always get stiff. I like to keep my brushes in a rotation. Especially my good ones. If you let them go, they're just gonna go bad. Couple brushes that need some fixing here. Here's a great tool that was recommended to me by our good friend Mr. Omizu here, which I would have never discovered. I mean, I might have figured it out one day, but I don't think I would have discovered it as soon as I did. But it's so helpful. Is this? It's a brush comb, and although this part's not as useful because it's not very, it's very spread apart. It helps for like bigger ones, and it helps for just like separating the brush. But I think the most helpful part is this bristle. It's a metal bristle. Ooh, it's so sharp. It's already made a hole in my glove. I'm gonna use another glove because I don't like to get too much paint on my hands, especially not with oil paint. Oil paint is very rough, especially if you use a lot of mineral spirits and stuff. Oil paint has heavy metals, things like that, so you don't always want it on your hands. But basically what I just do is I just like use this, and this helps to like, I think, not only scrape the paint off. Again, this is a really rough way to treat your brushes, so don't use this for every brush, even though this is a pretty expensive brush. But this is a good way to just separate your brushes, because not only are you getting in between the bristles, but it's also made out of like a copper, so it helps to scrape the paint off if there is any. And right now, it's pretty much like back to normal. Let's do it with this other one. I don't really think this other one needs it, but yeah, this one doesn't really need it, but let's do it anyway, just for, Alexa, what is the definition of posterity?
Posterity is a term referring to the future generations that will succeed us.
Oh, I was gonna say just for posterity's sake, but I don't think that means what I think I want it to mean. So, all right, let's see. How do we want to do this? We're going for a red. We got this purple already. This is like a blue purple. So if I go with the red, it's going to become, hopefully, the science would say that it would become more green. I mean, more purple. If it's a blue purple and I add some really bright reds, it'll become more purple. But at the same time, I don't necessarily want to like make this too make the painting like too perfect, It's not about that. Or I don't want to make this surface look like too flat. I don't like the really flat surfaces. So we're gonna use this paint, use some white oil paint, mix this in, try to get some of this blue, and see if this under this pastel color starts to affect the upper layers of paint here. And we are just painting into our space. Go right over here. So we're gonna go right over here and add some white into it. So I like how some of this has like this raised texture over here. You might not be able to see it on camera, but it's much more noticeable like in person, mostly because of the fact that you can see it from different angle. Looking at it straight on has a different effect than looking at it from not straight on. Let's grab some of this red here and we're going to go right into this space. And it really is really rough looking right now. And I like that because we're going to turn this into something different than what it is starting off like. And as I mentioned, I definitely do, at this phase of a painting, I was going to use the word excited, but I'm going to change that word to something more empowering. And instead of saying get nervous, get excited. I get excited. I was going to say get nervous, and I'll explain this. So I've been listening to this audio tape called The Inner Winner by Dennis Waitley, and it's a motivational self-help tape. I need that sometimes. I need a lot of it sometimes. And basically it goes over this whole the whole thought process of, what is it that you say to yourself on a regular basis, because that's going to have an impact on whether you succeed, how you feel about yourself, how other people perceive you because of the way you perceive yourself. It influences your self-esteem, your confidence, your lack of confidence, your everything is based on how you talk to yourself. Is essentially what the main idea of this motivational tape is that I'm listening to, called again Inner Winner by Dennis Waitley. I'd recommend it to anybody who's interested on the subject, but you don't have to listen to it. It's not like it might be a little bit too crazy for some people to think that how the words that you choose have such a huge impact on who you are and what you believe. But it might be a little too much for some people. But basically, something I just did right now, I said I was going to use the word nervous. I sometimes get nervous at this phase because it looks so messy. It looks cool, but it's not where I want it to be. And I was going to say I get nervous at this point because I'm like, oh, what's going to come of it? But as y'all had ascertained, as y'all had heard, I'm going to change that word. I'm going to change the way that I talk to myself, that I talk about myself, to something more empowering, which is, hey, I am excited about this part, right? This uncertainty. I mean, maybe it is certain. Maybe in my mind, I know that I know how to turn this into what I want it to be. But yes, the reality of the word is that it's more of an excitement than it is a fear, right? It's more of an excitement than it is a nervousness and anxiousness about what's going to happen. I'm excited. And you know what? Being excited and being nervous are two probably very similar events. But one creates stress and the other creates good feeling chemicals in your body. And here's a question. Do you think words, me simply changing the word from nervous to excited, is going to change how my body reacts to it? I don't know. According to Dennis Waitley, yes, it probably has an effect. So who knows? But with that, I don't know if any of you have been listening, or how many of you have actually been listening, or if you're just watching, or whatever. But what is a word that, by the way, excitement and nervousness, right? They could be pretty similar as far as energy goes, right? Like if you're nervous, you could be jumpy. If you're excited, you could be jumpy. If you're nervous, you could be, you could be like on the move and very energetic. And if you're excited, so like I feel like some of the physiological feelings could be the same. So, what are some words when you're painting or making art or anything? Like maybe you're in business and you got to make a speech in front of people. What is something that you say to yourself that's potentially negative, and how can you turn it to positive? Just like I just did, just like I was going, changing the word nervous to excited. I get excited during this phase rather than getting nervous about this phase. So here we go. We're going to take this green. We're going to take this green, grab a nice chunk of white. Take I think this is a permanent green, or like a phthalo green or something. It's like a bluish green. We're just going to go into here. Let's paint this across here. Yeah, maybe, instead of saying anxious, you could say, hey, instead of saying you're anxious, say that you're feeling excited. Say that you're feeling a sense of elation. And although, right, like some of you might be saying, well, maybe I can't lie to myself, right? You probably can't lie to yourself. But I think what the audio tape that I've been talking about for the past few minutes is what that might suggest isn't so much lying to yourself as much as it is beginning this exercise, beginning this habit of knowing how to talk to yourself. That's the powerful message there. And that's where we can all begin. How do you talk to yourself? How are you what are the things that you say to yourself that make you uncomfortable, right? And how can you change that to a positive event, something that's more helpful, more conducive to claiming your own personal power, to your own creative energy, to what it is that you want to do or achieve. And I already see I can see my biggest mistake here. I'm not going to share it, but I can already see it, so it's making me kind of laugh about it. But yeah, it is interesting. I will share my mistake just so people can. Manque un point bleu. Alexa, translate the French word manque un point bleu in English?
Okay, but which language do you want me to translate to?
Alexa, translate from French to English, manque un point bleu.
I don't know that one.
Hand a point blue. I don't know what that means. Blue point. Point bleu. Point bleu. Whatever that means. Point bleu. Alright, that's a little bit too much white on that hat. So we're gonna blend this into here. Let's blend this white into here. Let's start to add some color to this mouse here. This mouse needs some color. Maybe throw in some reds. Let's throw in some reds into this area right here. Blue Hand Group. Ah, the Blue Hand Group. Yes, that's me. We are the Blue Hand Group. And again, super powerful idea that I've been listening to is this concept of, what are you saying to yourself? What are we telling ourselves on a daily basis? And I think like when we could like become conscious of that, it's just this, I love this powerful idea that I'm getting from Dennis Waitley is, just a simple change in your own language, just a simple change in this, something that you're telling yourself can have a world of difference to so many different things. Thanks for the translation, Nomizu. Appreciate you. Alexa was not there for me. Alexa, you failed me. She didn't even respond. Alexa, you have failed me. I find that really interesting that she doesn't even respond when you say that, because like Alexa does sometimes say, hey, I'm not sure how to respond to that. But if you say, Alexa, you have failed me, she responds with silence. I love testing the limits of Alexa, because she is an AI. She is an AI, and it's interesting to test those limits to infinity and beyond. The limits of Alexa. And I think we're going to need a break in just a few moments, but let's see what else I could do. What else is available to do here? I'm going to mix some green, grab a little bit of red and some yellow, and I guess we'll get like a weird color. I don't even know what color this is about to be, but it might be just the right color. Maybe yes, this is like a brown yellow, which is exactly what I need. It's like trusting your own. Isn't it nice when you could kind of just like trust your own instinct? Just to be like, yeah, let me just put this color, and this color together, and I'm going to get that color that I'm looking for. It feels nice when you could do that. Just instinctual. It's nice when we could all reach a point of just working from instinct. That is a state of flow when you're doing things and you're just in this state that things just kind of like come together for you, Things just work. The state of flow. And it might not always work out like the best, but it works out. But it works out. A state of flow. We all have, hot streaks and cold streaks and whatever. I don't know, maybe I should leave this section right here. I kind of like it. This little gold area. We'll just paint that in. Monka. The Monka. I gotta paint some dark green into this section. Hey, I think I said I was gonna share what my mistake was. So in just a moment here, we're gonna share my biggest mistake on this painting right now, so that you can all witness how inaccurate this painting is. I love being able to like post on social media, like Reddit, and get like feedback. And I find some of the feedback interesting because sometimes, like depending on the person, I might take it seriously. But for the most part, the only reason I go on Reddit to like ask for feedback, like brutal critiques, is just to see how ridiculous some feedback can be. And it's also funny because a lot of the time the feedback is coming from someone who doesn't even paint. At least the really, really brutal ones. Like, maybe there's a chance that, you know, they don't have their paintings on their Reddit profile or whatever. But some of my most brutal like comments are from people who have like the worst paintings or don't even like have paintings at all on their profiles. Like they're literally just there to like poop on someone's painting, which, you know, whatever. People do what they got to do. Humans will be humans. I do not fault them for that. I love them either way. But at the same time, I just find it hilarious to just see what people have to say about your artwork. Good or bad. And a lot of times the bad comments are just like so ridiculous, so like obsessively elitist. And not like, you know, not like elitist from like somebody who's actually elite. Like, you know, not elitist from like someone who's the curator of a national gallery who, you know, just has an opinion or critique. But it's always elitist from like this random person who, you know, maybe did like shared like one painting that was like a fill-in, that was like a paint by numbers kit, and they're the ones who always have the most brutal comments. And then it's like when you realize that, when you actually see that, witness that, it's like, it's hilarious. Like it is just so funny to me to see that. But I think it also reveals a bit of sadness in that person. Or maybe they're just trolling. You know, sometimes people troll and just, you know, are having bad days, or they just, maybe they're satirizing elitism and showing you just how bad or how, you know, how dumb some critiques could be. But I recommend that as a practice. If you're just starting out in art, eventually, you know, you want to avoid it because it can get to your head sometimes, right? If you're reading tons and if you ask for really bad criticisms, you will get it, and it can get to your head. And every once in a while, you'll find some brilliant critiques, some brilliant ways forward. And then other times, you're going to find people that are just like, I would never take advice from that person based on their what they have on their Reddit profile. But I think it helps you to really observe and to know how to take feedback. Not just how to take feedback, but like how to discern what feedback is good feedback. Which that could be hard too. You know, like, you want to hear the feedback I get? Yeah, so it's, I mean, it's stuff like, you know, it looks like poo, or like, you know, the nose is, like, you didn't put a shadow here or something. And you know what, like, that's not bad feedback, but it's like so, it's just like so not contributive to the idea as a whole, like a painting as a whole, right? Like you forgot one shadow, or it looks like crap, which sometimes there can be good feedback, but like, or like, you know, it reminds me of a ball sack something, or whatever. And I've had feedback like that, not verbatim, but something similar. And it's like, oh, is that a ball sack, or is that a knee? Or it looks like somebody vomited on a page. Like, you know, that's the type of feedback. And, you know, I could tell that type of feedback, sometimes the person's just trolling. And I find that type of feedback pretty hilarious for the most part. But then once in a while, you know, you'll have like two different types of feedback. You'll get feedback like, dude, just go back to drawing. You got to go back to drawing. And it's like that person probably was told that themselves. But then you get somebody and they help you discover this entire form of drawing that totally captures your attention. So like one time I shared a couple drawings of mine. They're like, dude, if you really want to learn drawing, look up Charles Berg. And that launched me on an entire series of study of Charles Berg because I was like so fascinated by Charles Berg and his involvement with Vincent van Gogh, the Van Gogh family. But yeah, I think getting feedback, that could be a whole different like episode, live art log. This idea of how to discern good feedback from bad feedback. And you know what? Sometimes, like, I feel as if it's really hard to get the feedback online that's really going to help push you forward. And what I mean by that is I saw this one person posting on like Instagram or something, and everybody that responded was like so helpful. They were like so kind, like your work is beautiful. This is not something you should, feel anxious about. Your work is so beautiful. You should be confident and empowered. And I think that's really helpful. But the entire internet is so supportive where, some of the things in my life personally that have really motivated me, that have really like, it's maybe not the best way to respond, but things that really motivated me were things that really pissed me off. Things that were like, this guy is an idiot. I can't stand this response. They don't know what they're talking about, and I'm gonna go do something about it. So like you don't get enough of that on the internet, and it's probably for the best. But at the same time, sometimes it's that comment that really pisses you off, or like that person who just kind of like pushes your buttons that gets you lights a fire under your ass to go do something to improve. And then sometimes all the wonderful comments that just tell you how good your stuff is, that's not productive either all the time. But but I guess there is some value in having to ask for the harsh feedback. Because sometimes sometimes it's necessary, sometimes it's not. But it does help to know how to ask for the varieties of feedback. That's my message of the day. Know how to seek feedback, good and bad, and that will help light your way forward. So with that, I got a movie to watch. What's the name of this cat? Can you press the X button?
Yes.
No, right there. So let me get it. Give it to me. Give me control. I'm about to watch a movie. I'm gonna suggest an interesting movie. Let's see. This is called Twilight of the Warriors, Walled In. This is about the Kowloon walled-in city in Hong Kong, about some gangs that are in it. And I've only watched about the first 30 minutes, but I think it's pretty good if you like movies about Hong Kong. I like Hong Kong movies. Classic Hong Kong fighting movies, but we're going to call this a wrap for the evening. I hope you're all doing fantastic. And I hope you all do very wonderful. Cat says goodnight. See that? Can you tell that this is her? This little painting right here is her sitting on a couch. Can you tell? Huh? Cat, if you sit back.
That one?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's two of the same people. All right. Hey, good night, everyone. Take care.